All right, welcome to the Crow Discovery Project. Podcast number 8 will be coming along before too long. It'll be a very interesting one. I'm going to do a show that demonstrates that the beginning of the hippie movement, early rock and roll, Woodstock, all of it was design social engineering. Anyhow, I finally had a good day here today, so I shot the sun. I whipped out the solar rig, got everything set up, and here's the sun before I have it all tuned in. This is just the straight solar scope, and in a second I'll get the double stack on. There's not much going on the sun today, but I keep coming back to the idea of a reflection, and I've done this. I'll spin around the edges. There's some slight prominence today, but not much going on. Ever since I used my full spectrum camera shooting the moon, and I traveled way away from the moon and found light reflections in the sky, I keep coming back to this. And while I'm aware that a double stack with Etalon filters can produce ghost images, I keep doing these tests to try to prove in my mind 100% that the ghost image is being produced by the double stack Etalon filters. And each time I walk away just unsatisfied. So I'm going to show you the reflection here. I'm not saying that it's a reflection in the sky. I'm not saying it's not. I'll keep coming back to it until I kind of figure out a way to prove it to myself one way or the other. Now here what you can see is me traveling around. You can see the typical lens flare that you expect. And watch what happens as I move the other direction. This is right. I can't find anything there. As I move left, there it goes across the top. I'll come back to it. You can see it traveling across the top. I'll pull it back into frame in a second here. I always come to this little ghostly reflection of the sun, and it's always on the left side of the sun and always about a sun width higher than the sun. And I keep doing all these tests where I put a tube, like a rolled up newspaper over the end to extend what would amount to a light shade to try to see if that will make it go away. It does not. I rotate the filter set to see if the image will rotate. It does not. You can see here I'm taking a piece of paper with a straight edge and covering up half the scope at a time, and it acts like an image. And then I cover the whole thing and let it come back. At one point I even focus, defocus, focus, and I can make that affect what we're looking at here. And I would probably have dismissed this had I not had the experience with the full spectrum camera and the moon, and twice filmed a big light patch in the sky, which seems to be a reflection off the moon. So I guess I'm not sure what the next test I'm going to do is. So what I did here is I pulled the double stack off and I overexposed it, and I'm going to go look to see if I can find the reflection, the ghost image, and I can't. So basically what it comes down to is with the double Etalon stack, which is supposed to bring up real fine surface detail on the solar disk, I can pick this up. So I mean that would kind of point to it's the double stack doing it. But the point that I would make is if it's the double stack doing it, when I put a tube out to extend like a light shade off the end, it should go away. When I block it out, it should, block out portions of it. It should interrupt it if it's just like a light reflection inside the lens. When I rotate the double stack, you would expect the image to rotate, and it doesn't. And then when I focus, I can defocus it, although I can never bring it to a sharp focus. So I guess I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking at, but knowing for a fact that people do report having trouble with ghost images and Etalon filters, usually within the field of view, from what I've read, I'll just keep my eye on this. It's always in the exact same place. I can't replicate it up or down, right. I can only pick it up left and about a sun's width higher. So it'll just be something to keep my eye on. Pretty soon here I'll be doing some night shooting if the weather keeps up nice like it is. And I will be doing some out of focus tests, some planetary shooting. I'll be doing a number of things, and then when the lunar cycle comes around, I will have the full spec camera on, and I will see, now that I'm on the East Coast, if I can pick up that reflection of light in the sky when the moon is full. So there it is. I'll let this run out. You can see what I'm doing here, just moving all around. This is with the double stack back on, trying to replicate it in some way. There's, I don't know, a couple more minutes of this if you want to watch. Anyhow, my next podcast will be number 8. I'm going to bring James Alfred back because he has such an analytical mind, and we are going to completely expose the early hippie movement, the beginnings of rock and roll, all the way through Woodstock, to demonstrate it was nothing more than social engineering and completely tied to the military-industrial complex. So there it is. There's about another minute here to run if you want to watch it. Cheers.